students, so for today I will just give you a brief discussion and explanation on what you will do for your home-based learning there at home about the topic
factors, multiples, and prime numbers. But for this week, we will just focus on the first two objectives of this chapter. So therefore, in this chapter, you will learn to first to find factors of two-digit numbers, and then second one is find multiples and common multiples. Okay, so let us start. Okay, so I have here an example of an array. This array is actually three rows of four of these black squares in here. So I will just assume that our object here is a black square, right? Now from this array, so I could say that, or you could make an expression as 3 times 4. So since this array is actually three rows of 4, which is actually 12, which means that the number of items or the number of objects in this array is basically 12. So since 3 times 4 is equal to 12, we could also say that 3 and 4 are factors of 12. So since 12 can be divided exactly by 3 and 4 without any remainder, so you could also say that 12 is a multiple of 3 and 4. Okay, so basically those are definitions of a factor or factors and multiple. So let's have another example. Okay, so let's have another example in here. So let's try to have these first two examples in here. So we will just try to get first factors of 12. Okay, and then the second example is to get also the factors of 24. Now what is factor again? So basically factors are actually a pair of number. Now if you multiply them, you could actually make that given number. For example here, so the given number here is 15. So what do you think is a pair of number that if you multiply together you would make 15? Of course you have 1 and 15, right? Because 1 times 15 is equal to 15. So 1 and 15 are the first two factors of 15. Now the second pair is 3 and 5. So 3 times 5 is also equal to 15. So you could also say that 3 and 5 are also factors of 15. Now the complete set of factors of this number, which is 15, are 1, 3, 5, and 15. Okay, so let's have another examples now here. So 24. So let's have the first pair. So the first pair is 1 and 24, obviously. So you have 1 times 24 is equal to 24. So therefore 1 and 24 are both factors of 24. Now the second pair is 2 and 12. So 2 times 12 is 24 also. So therefore 2 and 12 is another factors of 24. You have 3 and 8, 3 times 8, and also 4 times 6. Okay, so therefore the complete factors for 24 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. Now as you notice in here, so every number 1 is always and every number which is actually given here, 1 is always a factor of that number, right? Because 1 is always a factor of any number. Okay, all right, now let's have the third example. Now for the third example, we will just write here all the multiples of 3. Now how to get the multiples of certain number? So you will just do the counting. Okay, so by that number, for example here, so we have 3 here, so let's do the counting by 3, like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and so on, right? So this is indefinite, so we don't know we're going to stop this one. Okay, so therefore, so these numbers are multiples of this. Since these numbers, if you divide it by 3, there will be no remainder at all. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 are the first 5 multiples of 3. Okay, so there you go. Let's have another multiples in here. Now, so this example is actually to put the numbers, these numbers on the right side, to put into its corresponding section in this Venn diagram, right? So this one is example of Venn diagram. So it means that if you would put it on the left side, which is actually it must be multiples of 3, and then on the right side it must be multiples of 4. Now in between, since this is the overlapping section of these two multiples, multiples of 3 and multiples of 4, so the numbers here must be both multiples of 3 and 4. It means that it is a multiple of 3 and at the same time it's also multiple of 4. Okay, so let's have the first number, so 6. So try to figure it out where I'm going to put a 6 in this Venn diagram. Okay, you have absolutely correct. Okay, if your answer is multiples of 3, that is correct because 6 can be divided exactly by 3 without any remainder. What about 8? Alright, very good. It must be on multiples of 4 because 8, if you divide it by 4, no remainder at all. What about 12? Very good. It should be at the middle because 12 is a common multiple of 3 and 4 because 12 can be divided exactly by 3 and 4 without any remainder. So we call this one common multiple. So 12 is a common multiple of 3 and 4. What about 15? Okay, very good. It should be multiple of 3 only, okay? Because 15 can be divided only by 3 without any remainder. What about 16? Okay, there you go. Very good. It should be multiple of 4. And the last number is 24 there. It must be at the middle. Very good. Okay, because 24 is a common multiple, okay, of 3 and 4. So there you go. So we're done. So for your turn now, so what I want you to do for your home-based learning for your mathematics for today, I want you to try to study again. Let's learn together. So try to look at those examples presented in number 1 and 2. And then after that, so do your let's practice 1 to 4 as your HBL for today. And then don't forget to submit it to your homeroom on time. And then don't forget to write your name and your class, okay? So these two are actually on pages 15 and 17 of your pupils book.
That's all for today. I'll see you again next week. Have a great day and keep safe, everyone.